Now, more than likely, if you guys have been keeping up on your 2K18 news, you guys have probably already seen this little picture you see right behind me. But if you have not and wondering what all these numbers and what all these archetypes mean, don't worry, because I'm going to break it down for you guys in today's video. Now, today's video, like I said in my previous video as well, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm just going to get straight into it. So let's jump right into it. Now, what you see on the screen right here is every single archetype you see for a point guard. So now every single archetype on the left side is for a point guard, so just don't get that mixed up with any other position. This is just purely point guards. So since we do have every single archetype on the left side, on the right side we are presented with all these numbers. Now if you don't even know what these numbers mean, this can be extremely confusing to you. Now let's just focus on one section first and then break it down from there, just so you guys do not get confused. So the first one I want you guys to look at is of course this one right here. So as you guys can see, let's just focus on the first archetype. The first archetype is a 3-point shooting primary archetype with a secondary in passing and ball handling. Now that I'm pretty sure that archetype is actually going to be very popular, but as you guys can see right there in the layups section, it says from 10 to 13. Now if you were to look at this list, you would probably be like, what does that mean? What does 10 to 13 mean? If someone does not explain this list very detailed, it could actually mess up the archetype you make in the future when 2K18 comes out this Friday. So now, since you guys just see right there, that says layups 10 to 13, just keep that in your head. Now, I made this upcoming picture just because of this list right here. So since this man's layups is from 10 to 13, as you guys can see right here, I broke up the attribute section from 0 all the way up to 25. So since this first point guard's attributes or archetype actually lands his layups between 10 to 13, it would be around this section right here. So what this list is telling us is that this man's archetype, his layups are a maximum between 10 to 13. So it would end around this section right here, since this is between 10 to 15. That's where this man's layups attribute would be capped off. So if you're still confused, don't worry, it's okay. We're gonna go over the next section, which would be dunks. As you guys can see, his dunks are between 3 to 5. So now let's go back to this list, go under dunks, simply just go under the section of where it is capped off. So since this one is from 3 to 5, it would fall around this range right here. So since this archetype's dunks can only go up to a 5, is where you see this arrow at right here, he cannot go up any higher with this archetype. You are completely capped off at this 5 attribute if you do decide to go with the archetype we are using for an example in today's video. One more time, just so you guys do not get confused, the next section would be the mid-range, and as you guys can see, it is maxed out at 21. We would go back to this list and he would be maxed out all the way right here. You see at this arrow at the 21 mark for the attribute section for this archetype. One thing I do want to comment on before I move on with this video is that if you guys pick an archetype and you see one of the sections in your attribute section falls around the 20 to 25 mark, that means that that specific ability, like let's say your speed falls at 23, that means you're going to be super fast. Let's say your three-pointer falls at 25. That means your shot is going to be extremely wet. So if you guys fall in the section between 20 and 25, that's an extremely good thing. I would even say if you fall in the 15 to 25 range, and that's a very good archetype in my opinion. Now if you fall around the 10 to the 5 to 10 mark, then that means you're going to be a little bit slower or a little bit not so good in that section, just so I can get that cleared up in you guys' mind when you're looking at this list and looking at the archetypes you guys want to pick. So just go back to this list you see right here on the screen, go ahead and pick out the archetype that you want to pick, and remember, these is all point guards. If you're a center, if anything besides a point guard, even a shooting guard, this list is not for you. This is purely point guards. If you're not a point guard, I'm sorry, this is just for point guards. So of course, if you're gonna pick a point guard, pick your section, pick your secondary and your primary, whatever it might be. Check out all the attribute caps, and then just check out the list or just check out that picture I made for you guys, so you can have a better understanding where your attributes are going to fall once you do max out that my player. So now that we have already covered that and you guys are all good on that, now I want to talk to you guys on which one of these archetypes really stood out the most. Two of these really stood out the most to me, and it actually gave me conflict. I'm not going to lie. I was going to go with maybe a point guard that could shoot threes and could dribble the ball, but these two archetypes really stood out to me. It's going to have to be these two archetypes you see on the screen. Now you're probably going to have to go into full screen so you can see every single one of these attributes, but let's start off with the first one. The first one that really stood out to me was the passing and ball handling ×2, which means the primary and the secondary are both passing and ball handling. So since this YouTube channel really revolves around me just dribbling the ball, because I've always been that type of player that likes to dribble the ball, either get myself open, get my teammates open, like to get other people involved. That's just the playing style I like. That's not for everybody, and I completely understand that. But just look at this archetype you see on the screen. Now since this man does have his passing and ball handling as his primary and his secondary attributes, that means he will have his badges all Hall of Fame, all of them. That means Dimer, Ankle Breaker, what are they? Lob City Passer, whatever the other ones are for a playmaker. He's gonna have them all Hall of Fame. I just don't want to sit here and just bore you guys and tell you every single one of these man's attributes, so I'm just gonna break down the most important ones. And of course, it's gonna be the ball handling is completely maxed out all the way up to a 25. His passing is maxed out all the way up to a 25. His speed and his acceleration are maxed out all the way up to a 25, and that's very important. The speed and acceleration don't really go up to 25 on a lot of archetypes. There's only a selected amount that only go up to 25, so that's really important. And the other two main things is that this man's shot from mid-range and three-point shot are at a 16. Now that doesn't sound too good, but at the same time it doesn't sound that bad. Just think about it. The playmakers in NBA 2K17 didn't really have that good of a shot, but we still we're still able to get green releases all throughout the year, and I'm pretty damn sure it's going to be the exact same thing with NBA 2K18. So just because the shot falls at 16 at a cap, that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad shot. So now let's move on to the next archetype below it, and that's going to be the passing and ball handling as his primary and the shot creator as a secondary archetype. Now this archetype to me is a very sleeper. It's a sleeper archetype. Not that many people are going to pick this one, but just look at the attributes on this dude. He is extremely stacked in almost every single category. Look at this man's shot. Oh, hold on. Let me backtrack. This man's mid-range is a maximum of 20. That is ridiculous. This man's three-point shot is a 16, same as the previous one I just stated. His ball handling is at a 24. At a 24, almost completely maxed out. What is that? This man's passing is at a 23, almost again completely maxed out. His layups are all the way up to a 18. Like this man, look at this. Now his speed does fall at a 23, but that's still extremely fast. His acceleration is at a 23, that's still extremely fast. But what's going to set this man apart from everybody is his mid-range. Now it falls at a 20, that's almost completely maxed out. Now just think about this for a second. If you're a playmaker like myself, if you're a point forward, if you just like to get people open, you like to dribble, just think about this, right? Now this man has attributes all almost capped off in all the important attribute sections. He has his passing almost maxed out. He has his ball handling almost maxed out at a 24 out of 25. His mid-range is at a 20. His speed is at a 23, and his acceleration is at a 23. Do you see any flaws in that archetype? I do not see any flaws whatsoever, and his three-point shot is at a 16. That's ridiculous. He's gonna still be able to hit three-point shots if he's open. Now this archetype, like I said, is going to be a sleeper pick. Not that many people are gonna pick it, but I feel like it's gonna creep up on people, and it might be one of the best ones in the games. And I didn't even talk about, if you're gonna be a shot creator and a playmaker, that means you're gonna be able to fade. You know how hard it's going to be able to guard someone if you can do dribbles and you can fade like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan? Just imagine that archetype. Oh, that's all I'm going to say about that archetype. Those to me were the best ones in my opinion, just from looking at this list. So more than likely when this game does come out on Friday for the prelude, I will more than likely go with one of these two archetypes you see on the screen. So stay tuned to see which archetype I actually do pick. But nonetheless guys, if you did enjoy this video, it helped you out any way possible, please hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. It helps out the video, helps other people watch the video just in case they have trouble as well. So nonetheless guys, that's been your boy Emperor Mufasa. Do not forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.